why am I passionate about strategy? Well, because we live in a very unfair world, and majority of us, we don't have the resources to stand the dangers of this world. Without some sort of superior strategy, we'll be crushed by the enemy. When I say enemy, I don't must not be spiritual enemy or physical enemy. It could be businesses, enterprises that we just don't know how to run, startups that fail, relationships that don't work, opportunities, talents, potentials that were not maximized. So, strategy is very important because strategy gives us the needed advantage to thrive. What is strategy? Strategy is a plan of action. You have a goal, you have a mission, you have a desire, you have something you want to accomplish, and then you ask yourself, how exactly am I going to get there? One of the key things we must understand in life is that we are all players. Being a player is not an offensive thing. We are all players. Shakespeare said the world is a stage and we are all actors. Actors are players. Another word for it is performance. And if you are not a player, it means you're not actively engaging your creativity. You're not actively engaging yourself in the affairs of the world, which means you are a spectator, which means you are already disadvantaged by virtue of your position. In life, your position is critical. In strategy, positioning is a very critical thing because where you position, where you stay affects your perception. Positioning affects perception. Positioning affects valuation. So if you take a bottle of water, for instance, and you buy the same bottle of water in a 5-star hotel or in a very expensive hotel, you could spend maybe 2,000 naira to buy a bottle of water happily. But if you take the same bottle of water to the street and try to sell it for 500 naira, somebody starts complaining about that. Why? Because of the positioning. So positioning or position affects perception and it affects valuation. How do we value properties to begin with? Position, where is it located? And how strategic is that location? If it is very strategic, a little bit of, a small plot of land could be very, very expensive as a result of the position. So if you understand that as a human being, then you understand why in the next couple of months, part of what you should be doing is working on your positioning. And what are the critical variables that affect or influence positioning? Well, let's start from the mind, the part you can control. The mind. What is your mental positioning? What is your default thinking when possibilities are being presented to you? What is your instinct, your first instinct towards possibilities? The majority of us is, no, it's terrible, it's evil, no, I can't do it. We find something wrong. We don't think, how can I make the best use of this opportunity? Some people don't even look out for opportunities anymore. We look out for junks. We look out for gambles. We look out for the next pyramid scheme because we are tired of thinking of positive ways to make money. Some of us don't even believe that it's possible to make money doing the right things. So your mental positioning is already damaged. You need a repositioning, a mental repositioning. The second positioning is environmental positioning. Where do you live? Where do you worship? Where do you work? Where do you live? Where do you worship? Because where you worship really affects your mind. Whatever you are consuming and you are being preached to by some spiritual person that you take too seriously really affects your mind and impacts on your potentials. And then where do you work? Some of us are in jobs where our minds are not even required. There is nothing to aspire to. There is nothing to think about. There's nothing to really solve. We just go to work, come back, go to work, come back, go to work, come back, year in and year out. That is a terrible position. Some of us work in jobs that doesn't require us to do any form of research, any form of personal development, any form of training. that is terrible. You need environmental repositioning, because your positioning, again, affects your perception, which is how you look at things, which is how you understand things. And two, it affects your valuation. The final thing you have to do to reposition yourself is to get self-exposure. Traveling is one of the ways to get exposure, but if you can't afford to travel, read books. The more books we study, the more we expand our worldview. And the more we expand our worldview, the more we attract possibilities, opportunities, and luck. Strategy teaches us to number our days, to see our weaknesses, to acknowledge that we are not perfect and we do not have what it takes. And because we do not have what it takes, we learn other ways to survive in the animal kingdom. The biggest person in the fable tales and folk tales, the biggest person of strategy is tortoise. The tortoise is slow and is often neglected in the animal kingdom, but it always finds a way to win, at least in the stories we are told. My name is Stephen, and I hope to stay in touch.